Okay, so recently there's been a little bit of a situation, including Tomoe Umari, who's actually called out some behavior that's going on in her chat, which I think is something that a lot of VTubers need to learn to kind of put the foot down on, and a lot of VTuber chatters, or not even just VTuber chatters, chatters in general on streams, should learn about, because again, it's starting to become a little bit of an issue for some people, and of course it seems like Tomoe has had enough. They've had enough of it, and there's been some clips and stuff talking about it, which I just kind of wanted to go through because I thought it was a little bit weird. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is this behavior? What kind of thing is bad to do on a stream? Well, essentially recently Tomoe put out a kind of post here saying, I've decided to add a new rule to my streams. No trauma dumping and or oversharing. Let's keep things fun and casual. I think it's important to maintain a relaxed atmosphere and keep things from getting too heavy. Please remain courteous to the other chatters. So again, obviously this is something that she's implementing now into her chat, and it's an issue that a lot of streamers face with whenever they don't have a rule like this in their chat, where people like to overshare, people like to kind of dump a lot of their trauma, dump a lot of, not even necessarily trauma, but a lot of their misfortunes on chat and kind of bring the mood down quite a bit, right? Of course it sucks for that person, of course, but I feel like they should be going to somebody else, like a friend or a family member or whoever. If it's something to do with a friend or a family member, maybe go to someone else, right? Because again, the streamer isn't exactly the person that is going to have to deal with this, especially whenever the behavior starts getting even worse than just like a chat message, right? And that's what we're about to go into, because there's been a couple of quote retweets, kind of talk about this, including this one clip from Dark here, which essentially she explains a situation that she had previously with someone who was kind of acting like this. So let's just take a look, and then of course we'll talk about it.
I can tell this story at this point because it's been long enough that I don't think it's an issue anymore, but there was like a point in time, there was somebody that was like monthly writing me like 9-paragraph long emails about how I was gonna be their girlfriend one day, and that they already knew that it was gonna work out, and how they could tell from my personality and my content that I was like the perfect match for them, and that they were waiting for me. They'd been waiting for someone like me their entire life. I've had similar things like that happen, but I would definitely say that was like one of the weirdest by far. So yeah, you think I've spoken about this once before? I try not to go into too many details. I think I was like, wow, I'm getting some really weird emails in my business email right now. Haha. Guys, remember, don't send stuff like that to my business email. And then I think they stopped after that, but yeah, it's kind of weird. little bit too far. I appreciate you guys appreciating me, but I think that's a little too much appreciation, I dare say.
Yeah, and I do think that is the case, right? It's obviously extremely weird that this is happening, and of course this was one particular case where, yeah, she was being emailed by someone saying like that she was gonna that they were in love or whatever, like they felt like they were gonna be together at some point, which obviously is extremely weird, extremely parasocial, and just something that a streamer doesn't want, right? But it's also not just that whenever she is talking about situations like this, because of course you do have just the people in chats that maybe don't mean to cause any kind of parasocial ness to you, but obviously feel like a Twitch stream chat is like the perfect place to vent to people about their IRL issues. A lot of the time whenever it comes to Twitch streams and YouTube videos and whatever, it's a place to kind of escape that, and I think a lot of people don't want to see people talking about their IRL issues in a chat like that. Right now, of course, there are some spaces especially online that are there for that, where you can do that, but again, obviously a lot of streamers, especially obviously Tomoe here, they don't like that whenever it comes to chat, because it brings the mood down. It does bring the mood down. It kind of brings people back to reality, and everyone's like, oh, okay, this is a bit just weird. And it does get a little bit weird, because then you start like oversharing personal information or whatever, and then people just start getting weirded out by that, because they're like, damn, okay, like you don't really need to be sharing all of this. And then of course, yeah, it just goes too far, right? And obviously this one as well, this person says, hey there, VTuber, I'm a first-time viewer. I had no idea who you are, but I'm devastated and need your advice on my cheating girlfriend who is now pregnant with my brother's child. Do you think I should break up with her? Actual chat from a stream. I wish I were joking. Which again, I don't know what stream they're talking about, but that's crazy if that is true. But that is the kind of message that they mean, right? Whether it's like oh, I found out my girlfriend's cheating on me, or like I'm getting a divorce, or I lost my job, or like something like that, right? Obviously it does suck, and you know, you want to tell everybody about it, but a Twitch stream isn't the best place for that, especially directed towards the VTuber themselves, because there's one thing sharing it with chat and chat being like, oh, that sucks, you know, well, you know, I hope things get better, right, or whatever. But it's also another thing to be like, do you think I should do this, streamer? Streamer, do you think I should do this? Streamer, do you think I should, you know, what do you think I should do, streamer? Like, and of course it starts to get to the point where it's like, it's weird because, you know, this streamer, this VTuber, whoever, you know, they're not there to give you like kind of opinions on things and counsel you on what is going on. So again, obviously that is a big issue for some people, and again, I can see why. You know, it's very weird, and I've seen many things like this happen in chats before. I'm sure you guys have seen it happen before if you guys actually look at chats, right? There's always that one kind of parasocial weird viewer who obviously either, you know, does something weird and parasocial, or just overshares and kind of asks for advice on something way too weird. And it happens in like donations as well, and that's the weirdest one to me, donations, right? In chat, obviously streamer can just ignore it, and they can just you know, move on and maybe time them out if they keep on going, but whenever it's a donation, it's so weird because it's like, you know, you don't really know what to say because you don't want to answer that, but obviously they've donated it and it's just played in TTS, and your entire, you know, stream can hear about it, right? You know, said, I think I've only had one slight experience with this stuff, but I've grown up since then. If you trauma dump in chat, I'm giving you bad advice. You know, said, I agreed. There's a time and place for everything. Plus, as a reminder to more deranged people out there, trauma dumping is not going to get someone to like you. And yeah, some people do that, by the way. Some people do that to kind of make, you know, because obviously whenever you put something like horrible that happened to you in chat, whatever, of course someone's gonna be like, oh no, I'm so sorry, and you start to, you know, garner sympathy, which obviously some people see as like, I'm in boys, they're gonna like me now, which obviously isn't the case, right? It's not the case at all. They're just very empathetic, and you know, it sucks the situation that you're in, but it doesn't mean that they want to date you just because they feel bad for you, which of course is a completely different thing, right? And obviously I said, no trauma dumping, guys. Yeah, obviously my wife left me, bow bow, which obviously, you know, jokes like that are fine, of course, but it's, yeah, it's like whenever people are genuine and actually trying to get the VTuber to help them, or get the VTuber chat to help them as well, which I think is obviously the odd behavior, and it's something that, you know, as I said, it doesn't just happen in Tomoe's chat, as it seems like it has been happening and has, it happens in so many, and it's something that is common in a lot of VTuber spaces. So it's just something to be aware of, especially if you are a VTuber or a moderator in a VTuber chat, to maybe think about adding in a rule, or maybe you know, removing messages like that, because of course it can, you know, become an issue. I've still got Freem here saying, but what if I have to complain that my blanks are too heavy and I need you to help me hold them with your big strong horse arms and military experience? I got you. He said, was this not already a rule? Said, this was a rule, stay on topic and avoid diverting attention from the stream, which, yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Said, but it wasn't specific enough to avoid this particular issue, so I figured I'd make it as clear as possible, because yeah, of course, like messages like this, not only are they just weird, but also they can derail exactly what is going on, you know, on stream, and, you know, the streamer and how they're kind of, the flow of the stream is going, because some people have a particular flow, they have a particular kind of, I don't know how to describe it, they just have a particular way of streaming that, you know, obviously one message about like, you know, trauma dumping or whatever, obviously can throw the whole thing out the window, and a lot of people start going off topic, which obviously sucks. You see, Passage, I want to vent about my brother's sister, mother's teacher, former roommate who stole my goldfish, who will I cry to now. So when I was 12 years old, I found a cool bug once. I hope the bug is doing well. Which of course, yeah, I mean, that is essentially, you know, what people are talking about at the moment. And I do think it is definitely a good message to put out there. I think, you know, I know obviously this is supposed to be talking about her chat in particular, but I do think it's a good message for VTubers in general, to kind of rethink their rules and to rethink how they moderate things, because this stuff can escalate further, right? And as we saw with the emails and stuff that she was getting, the weird emails that she was getting in terms of the paragraphs saying that they were gonna, you know, be together or whatever in the future. You know, of course, that's the point that it can sometimes get up to for some, and that is a point that, you know, no VTuber really wants to get into, right? Because of course it's weird and it's creepy and it's, you know, sometimes a little bit concerning, right? So yeah, obviously that is essentially all there is for this situation. I just kind of wanted to cover it and share this with you guys because I thought it was very, very interesting. And yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.